forge your inner armor.
Think of that person or a few people that have had the most impact on you. The ones that really kind of know you the best, the one you go to in times of need. If I said, you got to phone a friend right now, right? Who are you going to call? And I will almost guarantee you that that person is somebody who you would consider as always being present with you. That they're there with you in that moment, and you can trust that person that they're not going to be scrolling through their Facebook. They're not going to be pacing back and forth. They're going to sit down and they're going to lean in and they're going to listen and they're going to be present. And relationships that really make us healthy are ones where the people are present. And when we're present, I'd also challenge the listeners right now as myself, who's the last person you interacted with today and how much of you was in that moment? Was it 100%? Was it 60%? Was it 30%? And in whatever field it's in, it's all about being present. What makes us different from animals is this cerebral cortex with all these folds in it, that the further you go down in animal sophistication, you'll find that there's less of these folds to the point that the cerebral cortex is almost flat. But in humans, we have tons of these folds in the cerebral cortex that come forward and create this frontal lobe. And so from a neuroanatomy standpoint, we are much more complex than animals. The downside to that is an animal is pretty much always present. When my Vizsla climbs up on the couch and he curls up with me, he's there, right? Like he is, I can't even get him off of me. They call them Velcro dogs, right? But he's not thinking about, what time is my favorite TV show on? Or, how are the Jets doing this year compared to the Dolphins, right? He's right there with me because he isn't able to go into these different places. Now I can. If you ask me about my second grade teacher, if I ask all of our listeners out there, imagine for a second your second grade teacher, a lot of you can see that person in your mind. Imagine yourself 5 years from now. You can actually create that scenario in your mind. That's what makes us so sophisticated as humans. And it's what really gives us kind of our power to kind of change the world around us, to create the iPhones, right? To create the Teslas, to fly aircraft in the sky across the world, right? Is this ability to plan and reason and engage in executive functioning. But it is a blessing and a curse. We have to be able to balance that and not let it just take us into places that rob us from being in the moment, whatever that moment is for you. It's not really stress that kills you. It's worrying about stress. It's the anticipatory stress. It's engaging that frontal lobe, doing the what ifs to the point that you're now in sympathetic and you can't sleep at night. You're so far removed from presence that you can't engage in a conversation with somebody for more than 30 seconds without your mind bouncing. And you're robbing yourself of being successful if you don't stay in the moment. And that's a really tricky thing. The guy at the free throw line with 2 seconds left in the game and he tanks both free throws is not because he can't make free throws. It's because he lost his ability to be present in that moment at that time. He went someplace else. He was not on the free throw line. He was in some other scenario in his mind that took away from his percentage of presence.
That's why you call a timeout before the other guy kicks a field goal, right? To ice the kicker.
Yeah, you're trying to send him into what ifs. That's what the coach is trying to do. He doesn't want that kicker to be present. He wants that kicker to be in what ifs, or maybe there's a what about, the unresolved conflict of missing the field goal in college, right? That is going to come out. He wants him to get into some other space, not into presence. And the way to get into presence starts with your senses. Stopping and going through all 5 senses and saying, What am I seeing? What am I smelling? What am I feeling on my skin? What am I hearing, right? Taking these things in and sometimes saying, wait a minute, that's too much. Maybe I need to settle some of those senses down, right? Turn the volume down, maybe shut the lights down a little bit more so that I can be present. But that's a lost art. That is a real lost art. The people that are the movers and the shakers in our world that have transformed our lives relationally, the one-on-ones, not somebody we watch on TV, but that grandparent or that uncle or that brother or sister, those people are present and they're changing lives way more than any entertainer or CEO. They're changing your life, right? And that's about being present and asking ourselves, how present am I at this current moment?